Hello and welcome to the lecture series on automobile engineering. We'll continue our study on braking system. In today's lecture, let us look at the working principle of anti-lock braking system. In short, it is called as ABS, anti-lock braking system. Before we understand why exactly we require anti-lock braking system, let us look at an example here. So here we see that there are two cars which are steadily heading in a road, and we see that one car, as it approaches a slight deviation in the direction of the road, though the car is at a reasonably high speed, still the driver manages it in a very controlled manner, and without any mishap the vehicle passes through. On the other hand, we see one more vehicle, car, as it steadily moves at a reasonably high speed, and the driver at the nth moment he looks at a deviation in the road. Thereby he suddenly steers the wheel and he also applies the brake, just as the case in the first instance. So as he applies the brake and turns the steering towards the left side, the response time is limited, and because of that, high braking force will be applied by the driver, since the vehicle is not in a controlled position. So he manages in braking it the speed, but the vehicle is going to skid. That means the wheels will not be able to rotate, but however the vehicle will be heading. Wheels are locked condition, but the speed of the vehicle is not in control. Thereby we see that he will miss the road and he will end up with an accident, hitting the object here. Similarly, we see the another example here where we see that we have one vehicle as it approaches, and this is done purposefully just to show us the importance of anti-lock braking system. As the vehicle approaches close to the obstacle, these are some of the boxes which are kept as an obstacle, the driver at the nth moment he applies brake. We can see the tire marks here, and the response time is limited, but still he wants to control and the vehicle and move it to avoid the obstacle. So he turns to the right side. We can see the direction of the wheels here, but the response is so limited, the wheels is going to get locked up because of the high braking pressure or load, and the vehicle manages to head straight without taking any deviation. And we also see that the road is quite slippery here, and we see that the wheels are locked up. That means the wheels are not rotating, but however the vehicle is moving. So therefore we see that there is no proper control on the directional stability, and thereby we can see an accident here. On the other hand, we see another vehicle which is also approaching with the same speed the obstacle, but when the driver looks at the obstacle at the nth moment, but he manages to steer the vehicle towards the left side, and thereby he can quietly manages in a safe manner avoiding the accident. So this is a vehicle which is fitted with anti-lock braking system. Now let us see why we require anti-lock braking system. So it says that anti-lock braking system, in short it is called as ABS, is required to provide directional control during heavy braking instances. So we are concerned about directional control during heavy or sudden braking instances. This is required in order to avoid the accidents. Now let us move ahead and look at some of the advantages associated with anti-lock braking system. The first thing is it allows the driver to maintain directional stability, so which is very important. Otherwise the vehicle is going to topple and there may be a mishap with a fatal death sometimes. The other one is the anti-lock braking system is safe and it is also effective in its operation. So this is a second advantage which is associated with ABS. And the third one is by equipping the vehicle with ABS, it facilitates optimum braking force by regulating fluid pressure on the braking system. So that is also quite required, so that the braking is done at the required point in a short distance. And the last one is ABS absorbs turbulent shock waves during the short distance if you want to manage to stop the vehicle. And we also see that this is done in a short distance. One can have a control on the vehicle, directional control, by modulating pulses. I will talk about this. What is this modulating pulses? And thus permit wheels to turn continuously under a maximum braking force. So wheels are rotating, they are turning, but that going to happen not in a steady way but in a braking condition, so that the wheel of the vehicle is going to turn little by little, like that in 1 second for about maybe around 20 to 30 times. There is an application of braking, release of braking. So this is called modulating pulses. So by this technique one can have better control on the vehicle directional stability. Now let us look at the disadvantages. What could be the disadvantages of this ABS system? One of the disadvantage may be since this ABS system makes use of a lot of control systems, electronic components like sensors, control unit, hydraulic units. These are quite expensive, so the ABS system itself may be quite expensive. Some people try to avoid fitting the vehicle with ABS, but modern vehicles all are equipped with ABS system. The other one is, since these are sensors which are inbuilt in ABS, these sensors timely required calibration so that their accuracy is preserved. So this is another requirement one has to be concerned about, so that our braking is effective and it is safe for our driving purpose. Now with this, let us now look at different types of ABS systems. Among the types of ABS system, we have basically 3 types. The first one is called as 1 channel, the second one is called as a 3 channel, and the third one is called as 4th channel. Now let us look what is this 1 channel. In the 1 channel design of ABS, we will be having one valve which is controls the rear wheels, both the rear wheels. So there is only one valve which is controlling both the rear wheels, and along with this one valve we have one sensor, speed sensor, which is fixed on the rear axle. So therefore we have one valve and one speed sensor to basically control the rear wheels. In case of 3 channel, we are going to have 2 valves and 2 sensors, speed sensors, for the front wheel purpose. So therefore the front we have 2 wheels, and each wheel is having one valve and one sensor speed being arranged, and towards the rear end we are going to have one valve and one speed sensor, which is usually mounted on the rear axle. So this is about the 3 channel type of ABS. And the last one is fourth channel. In case of fourth channel, we are going to have 4 valves and 4 speed sensors for the 4 wheels. So we have 4 speed sensors and 4 valves. So when we look at all these 3 channels, channel number 1 channel, 3 channel, 4 channel, it is quite evident that the channel number 4 is very efficient in applying the brake, so that we can have better control on each wheel for the braking purpose. Now let us look at how anti-lock braking system works. Before we look at how exactly it works, let us look at the parts of the anti-lock braking system in the vehicle. So we have a 4-wheeler here, and it has basically 4 important parts. Number 1 is called as a module control unit, which is also a kind of electronic control unit. The other one is called as a brake control unit. One can call it as hydraulic control unit. And then we have speed sensors, and then we have brakes. So these are the 4 important parts which forms anti-lock braking system. Now let us look at the working process. So here we have a vehicle, 4-wheeler basically. These are the front 2 wheels, and these are the rear 2 wheels. And we see a small triangular symbols here, 1, 2 and 3, 4. These are speed sensors, and these are speed sensors. All the 4 wheels are having 4 sensors. Each wheel is having one sensor fitted to it, and all these sensors are connected to ABS module, which is a kind of control unit, electronic control unit. Further, each vehicle is fitted with brakes. So these brakes are shown here with the blue lines, and all these brakes are connected to another unit called as a brake control unit, and this brake control unit, one can call it as hydraulic control unit. Further, this hydraulic control unit is connected to master cylinder, and the master cylinder is further connected to brake pedal. So one can have a sequence like that, and we see that the communication channel is wide open, connecting the module control unit, brake control unit, master control, and we have brake pedal connected to it further. So we see that here we have a thick black lines which indicates normal working condition. That means vehicle is cruising at a steady speed in this direction of the vehicle is shown here, driving direction. And during this process of steady movement of the vehicle, ABS system does not play a role here in this condition, since the vehicle is moving with a steady speed. But once the driver recognizes that there is some obstacle at the front, or maybe there is some deviation one has to take, then evil driver is going to apply the brake. During that point, we can see that one of the wheel gets de-accelerated, one of the wheel gets slow down the rotation or the turning, and this reduction in the rotation will be sensed by a speed sensor. So here we have a speed sensor, and the speed sensor is connected, and there will be a toothed wheel which is connected to the hub of the wheel, and there is a distance being maintained between the speed sensor and the toothed wheel, and the rotation of this toothed wheel will be sensed by the speed sensor, and it is going to communicate one voltage signal to the electronic control unit or ABS module, and the ABS module is going to pass that signal to the hydraulic control unit, and the hydraulic control unit is going to reduce the pressure in the line of the brake. So the controller is going to communicate a signal saying that the turning of the wheel has slowed down, therefore reduce the pressure in the brake line. So therefore the pressure in the brake line will be reduced through the brake control unit or hydraulic control unit. So in the hydraulic control unit, again we are going to have three parts. One is the high pressure accumulator, second one is the pump, and the third part is solenoid valve. The purpose of solenoid valve is to increase the speed, increase the pressure of the fluid, or to reduce the pressure of the fluid, and sometimes it has to maintain constantly the pressure of the working fluid. So that is the purpose of the solenoid valve. So here the hydraulic control unit is going to reduce the pressure, fluid pressure, and thereby we see that the speed is going to be released, the force on the wheel will be reduced, and the wheel is going to again restore its speed because of the reduction in the pressure of the fluid. That increase in the speed again will be communicated to the control unit, electronic control unit. Again electronic control unit passes the information to the hydraulic control unit saying that speed is restored, apply the load. So thereby again the pressure in the brake lines will be increased by the action of high pressure accumulated through the pump, and thereby we see that the pressure in the brake lines will increase. Thereby again the rotation of the wheel will be reduced. At one instant the speed is restored, the other instant the speed is again reduced. So this restoration of the braking and again applying the braking, so this is application and reapplication. So this is called pulses. So this process will continue. A signal will be communicated to electronic control unit, and again the hydraulic brake control unit going to increase and decrease the pressure in the working fluid, and thereby the brakes is going to apply and release, apply and release. Thereby the rotation of the wheels will be continuous, at the same time it will be braking slightly. So in a way that in 1 second for about 20 to 30 times the rotation of the wheel will be braking, but that happens so smoothly that the driver will not feel it most of the time. So thereby we see that this idea of bringing the vehicle into the halt or take a diversion without any mishap, one can achieve this by reducing the speed of the wheels little by little, instead of applying direct force and making the wheels locked. So this is very safe and it is quite successful. So friends, with this we have come to the end of today's lecture. Thank you for your attention.